Hey gang, Roden here. Welcome on back to the Cade and another episode of WTF Wednesday. The feature where we go back in time and take a look at games that on paper seem like really good ideas, and some of them actually were good games, but in reality had so much more potential and so much more possibility that wasn't realized. And for this one, we're going to go back to 1987 and the good old Nintendo Entertainment System, the little gray juggernaut, and play a game that I really liked back in the day, but on reflection and revisitation, has a lot that could have made this game better. We're going to play Star Voyager. This game was created by ASCII Corp and related in 1986, and then Acclaim helped put it out in North America. So how this game works is pretty straightforward. And this is one of the first intro screens that I ever saw on a video game that I really liked, because I dug the design of the spaceship I get to fly. So what we are is a pilot in a spacecraft that has to protect our ship, which is called the Cosmo Station Noah, and is full of planetary refugees from a fleet of intergalactic warlords known as the Molok War Drivers. And how this game works is pretty simple. We have to destroy the armada that is coming to destroy us before they do so. Now, what you need to do is you pull up the select button and you get this map. And this map is critical because this will help you determine where you're going to go. Now, in order to defeat the armada, which is those currently 5 blinking lights in the lower left-hand corner, or lower right-hand corner, I should say, we need to engage them and just blow them up. But as our ship is currently constituted, we can't do that. Our weapons aren't strong enough, our shields aren't strong enough, and we don't have enough juice in the hyperdrive to get there. So what we need to do is we need to visit these 8 planets and find what we need to be able to do so. Now, the other thing we have to keep in mind is there are space stations, which are these ring-looking things that are between this planet and this planet, as you see by my orange cursor moving around. Those are important because there we can get repairs, and more importantly, we can refuel our ship. Our ship only has so many fuel crystals in it, and once those run dry from doing hyperspace jumps, we are literally dead in space. We also have this thing right here. It happens to be a black hole right next to a planet. So we have to be very, very careful in traveling between this area here, because it is very possible to get pulled into the black hole, and once we do, we can't get out. There's also over here these 4 dots. These are an asteroid field. We want to avoid those because they can damage our ship if we're not careful. We happen to stray into it. Now, as we do hyperspace jumps, the fleet is going to move from their current position and head outward into this system. And as they run into space stations, they're going to destroy them. And as they run into planets, they're going to conquer them. So we need to be very quick, but we also need to be very efficient in how we utilize our resources to get what we need to come back and engage the fleet. If the war drivers manage to get to Cosmo Station Noah, which is this blue dot here, before we have everything we need and we can get over there in time, they will destroy it and we will lose the game. So first order of business is I want to get to this planet, and I can just set my compass there. And what I really liked about this game back in the day was this was the closest thing to the way that the cult classic 1985 movie The Last Starfighter looked. It was a very similar HUD, although obviously this is not The Last Starfighter, although they did do a video game version of that I should check out at some point. But how we do hyperspace jumps is we just simply hold the B button down. We build up speed as our space station goes by us. And then we punch into hyperspace, or what they call subspace. And as you see on the right, that vertical chart that is going down, that is our fuel. So now our sensors tell me there's a planet nearby, and now all we got to do is find it. And we will know because there will be an audio blip, and there will be a target that we see. Whoop, we just went right by it, right there. Now what we got to do is get to the planet. And how we do that is you just hold down a little bit on the engine button, which is B. And we're essentially doing the equivalent of impulse drive, where we are cruising along and we're getting closer to the planet. But we don't want to go too fast because we can overshoot it. So we get about there. And you want to be going only like 2 clicks, really. And then we will line it up, and then we will go land on the planet. Now, we will know it's a planet we wanted to find if when we get down to the surface, you will see a city scene there and mountains in the background. If there's a person there between the buildings, we know we found a spot we should have gone to, and we will get an item. If not, then we're hosed. Fortunately, there's somebody here, and the super laser is activated, and we definitely need that because we need this in order to blow up the ships. Now, why I chose to give this one for WTF Wednesday is because in a lot of ways, this is very much a very, very proto version of games that I have liked to play since, most notably No Man's Sky. I have not played Starfield yet, but you could also argue this is in a similar vein. But you have to bear in mind that 35 years ago, we didn't have the computing capacity or the graphical capacity to come up with that sort of presentation. So now, the planet has moved away from the black hole because it's gone in orbit. Now, we can go to the space station, or we can just opt to go to another planet. Now, there were 5 war driver squadrons that were here. There are now 7. They will expand potentially as we go through the game. It's all a matter of what we manage to find. So what I'm thinking we will do is we will get to this planet here, see if there's anything. We'll have to double back at this station and then head over this way. So, and hopefully we will not run into the fleet. Now that we have the super laser, that will definitely help us. But we are going to need a bit more stuff. And because you basically spend this game jumping between subspace and either landing on planets or going to space stations or fighting the fleet, there isn't much else to do. So I'm not going to worry about the space station yet because we've still got plenty of fuel. Now, the fuel count are those red dots that are in the upper right-handed oval. And unfortunately, at this stage, we can't go very fast, and we can't cover a lot of ground until we get more benefits for the ship. And one of the things we can get is we can get a hyperdrive edition that will allow us to go faster and not burn as much fuel. Where did the planet go? Oh, the planet moved. So we gotta do one more jump, and by this point we'll have burned about half of our fuel. Now, there is no guarantee that on any planet you go to that there is going to be something there. Because there's 8 of them, and there's 3 items at least that you need to get. There is the shield boost, the cannon boost, which is you hit your A button, you can fire your lasers. And the hyperdrive. That you've got a certain degree of possibilities in what you can find. And you do have to think fairly tactically about it because, again, everything is relegated by the amount of fuel you've got. So we can only hope that there is somebody here. And there isn't. Because there's nobody there between those buildings. So now we just turn around and take right off again. So because this game is so old, I wasn't able to find any sort of Metacritic rating or anything like that to determine how popular this game is. I can tell you, because it was an Acclaim game, it wasn't very... it didn't sell in high numbers. And also because it wasn't a flagship title or a franchise title, it was something that, again, was a port of a Japanese game that they were able to put together. Now, we've got some options here, because we still got enough gas that we can get over to this planet. And then probably this planet before we go back to the station. I'm going to take the calculated gamble on this. And hope we can get over there. But this is also a game I could have done as a one-day play, because realistically, you can beat it in a fairly short amount of time. Whoop, I want to make sure I'm back on the planet. I do not want to get lost. But when I was 8, 9, 10 years old when this game came out, this was one that, with an imagination as crazy as mine, I had a whole lot of fun with it. So now we got to find this planet. And now we can land here, and hopefully there will be somebody waiting for us at this one. And if not, then we definitely have to get back to the station to refuel. And then we can head to that fourth planet. And there's nobody here, so we whiffed again. Which isn't good. So now we definitely have to make for the station. And we could go to this one, but we are going to be within range of the fleet. Whereas this one, we can do 1 jump, 2 jumps, and we hopefully can get over there. We've got 3 fuel cells left. So we are going to cut it a bit tight. Faint signal received. From where? Thought it was there in front of us. We got to be able to pull it up here. There it is. What is this? This looks like a monolith. Fire Star Bomb with second controller. Ooh! I think we just got ourselves a super bomb. And we have just enough gas to get to this station, so we'll be able to refuel. We did cut it a mite thin. So we're essentially docked at the station now, and then we'll see it pan off. And then we'll see ourselves refuel. So let me just check something really quick here. So now we have 8 fleets that we need to worry about taking out. And the only problem is if we can launch a star bomb with a secondary controller, that's a slight problem because I need to have a secondary controller plugged in and I don't have that. So I won't be able to use it even if I wanted to. Alright, we'll do one more jump. So with the Star Bomb, all we would have to do is have another paddle plugged in, plug it into the second controller port on a NES system. When you visit a sector of enemies, try to shoot the enemy mothership with the Star Bomb. Although this fact says if I really want to win the game, I don't recommend you try to find it. It takes a lot more time. You'll likely not accomplish it much when you use it. And that's another issue I would have with a game like this nowadays, is if you put in a Doomsday weapon, what's the point of putting it in there if, one, you need a secondary controller to use it, and two, even if you can use it, the odds of you being able to get anything out of it are fairly slim. See, nowadays you definitely would not have that. You also wouldn't give yourself the ability to find the weapon that can essentially have you win the game that early. Although we still have not found anybody else on a planet, which is a problem. So now we need to find well, except now we were actually going to have to engage the enemy because they're getting pretty close to us. So we might as well take a crack at it. Because we have the super laser, so we'll have to just hopefully be able to do something. Now, in order to be able to take on the enemy, you hit the A button and that turns your shields on from this screen. You can't turn your shields on any other way. And you'll know they're on because now I've got green on my HUD. Without it, the shields are off. So now there are enemies here. And we've got to take them out quick. Our radar is damaged, so we can't necessarily see where they're coming from. And there's the mothership. And trying to get it to hold still is a bugger. But we got it. Oh crap, and the lasers are damaged. So now what we got to do is we've got to find a station to get to pronto so we don't get killed. And I don't think we're going to make it because we've got one batch of fuel left. And if we don't get there from here, oh, we had just enough. So now we got to find the station. And we don't have a radar, so it's a good thing we found it when we did. Because now we can get everything repaired and then go back and try and take on the war drivers again. Now we get refueled. Oh, except our cannon isn't working. Well, that's not good. We have no weapons and we can't get anything fixed. So now we've got a serious problem. The only thing I can think of is if we can go back to home and get repaired there. Because yeah, not having offensive capabilities is pretty pointless at this stage. Now let's see what it does. So we'll get refueled for sure. And now we have working cannons again. Which is good because the fleet is pretty much on our doorstep, but now they're down to 5. And they're practically on our doorstep. So we'll do one more jump, and then we'll have to take our chances getting through this fleet. And if we can't do it, then that'll be it, because we're just about at 30 minutes. So where are they? Now we just got to be able to go and get them. That looks like a mothership right there, and I just got to be able to take it out. Every time they hit you, they slow your engines down, and now our radar's gone again. Took that mothership out. And the engine's hit, so now we can't go anywhere. We're almost out of fuel, but we're still firing. Laser cannon damaged. Shields damaged. Everything is lit up like a Christmas tree. The barrier is down. Radar, cannon, engine, all damaged, and we are a sitting duck. So now they are going to blow us to Kingdom Come. And that is it. So that, in a nutshell, is Star Voyager from 1987. Now, like I said, is it a great game? No. It is a game that I play very much with a heavy dose of nostalgia. Because it was one of those games that adhered to my childhood enough back in the day and my imagination that I could just sit there and get lost in it. And it had enough elements from other things that I like. Like I said, the HUD is very much of a similar design to The Last Starfighter, even though this game has nothing to do with it at all. And it's something that... I'm just going to go ahead and get this started here so we can shut it up. But it could have been so much more back in the day, and it's one where if they made it now, a lot of the things that are in space simulation games, I have no doubt would be in it now. And I have to remind myself that this was 35 years ago that this game was made, and that it didn't have the computing capacity and it didn't have the graphical capacity to do anything like what we have now. So in a lot of ways, it was more ambitious than similar games of its type back in the day. But to use the Top Gear analogy, it was ambitious, but also a little bit rubbish. So would I recommend you try it? If you want. I mean, now that you've seen it and now that we've shown it on the channel, there's not much more to it than this. So you have to be of a certain type of player to want to try it, and you have to go into it with a certain degree of knowing that it's not going to help you do anything, and it's not an easy game. I've never beaten it. In all the years I've played it, never gotten close to beating it. So, but again, I'm playing it on the Messin emulator, which is a free emulator. So you can try it out at your convenience. And if you do, let me know. Let me know what your experience with it is. So in the meantime, I hope you've been enjoying our playthrough of Dark Souls, our first time playthrough of it for me. We are now on episode 4. We will have episodes 5 and 6 coming up this weekend. We'll have new episodes Saturday and Sunday, and we'll be posting them every weekend until we are done. Hope you also enjoyed our one-day playthrough of Rescue the Embassy Mission. That is a game that I still have a lot of fun playing, and is a game that is one I very much encourage you to play if you've ever enjoyed games like Splinter Cell and Counter-Strike and Call of Duty and all those tactical military simulators. They can all, their genesis can be traced all the way back in a lot of respects to that game. But a lot of people didn't know about it back when it was on the Nintendo 35 years ago. So check that one out if you haven't. Also, be sure to follow us on social media, on Instagram and Threads at Ronan's Retrocade. We post new content there every day. We post new stuff here. And as always, if there's a game you would like to see us feature from the Nintendo Entertainment System, the Super Nintendo, the Sega Master System, Sega Genesis or MegaDrive, SNK, Neo-Geo, Nintendo 64, Sony or Saturn, Sega Saturn, and Sega Dreamcast, still getting those right, PlayStation 1 or PlayStation 2, leave it in the comments below or drop me a line on social media. It can be any game from those consoles you want. And as always, my name is Ronan. It's been great to spend this WTF Wednesday with you. Be safe, be well, happy gaming, and we will talk to you again on Saturday as we dip right back in to Dark Souls Remastered. Bye.